Hello and welcome to CEC live lectures. Friends, as you know by now, the training and development is an integral part of the human resource management in an organization. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the concept of management development program that refers to the process of enhancing knowledge, skills and abilities of individuals in managerial roles so as to prepare them for higher level positions. So, we can inevitably say that management development programs are future oriented and it equips the leaders for the roles that they are going to take up in the future. So, management development programs, they basically aim at improving the overall effectiveness of managers at their existing positions as well as preparing them for greater responsibility when they are promoted. Now, the need of having an effective management development program, it may be attributed to the technological, societal, economical transformations that organizations are facing today, and we learnt about these factors in the previous lecture, that why do we need an effective MDP? We need an effective MDP because globally there are certain changes that organizations are facing and they need to equip the leaders so that they can face those changes and they can come up with new strategies for the effectiveness or enhanced productivity and profitability of the organization. Then it helps those who are new to management positions and understand what the job entails and gain necessary soft skills and interpersonal knowledge. It's also important for experienced managers because it can teach them new ideas in the workplace management so that they can stay abreast to newer concepts and approaches. We also learnt about the process of management development that basically begins with identifying the objective of the program, that why we are undertaking a management development program, what are the gaps, what we need to teach our leaders, to finally estimating the return on investment. So, we learnt about the entire process of an MDP and various approaches to MDP were also discussed in detail, wherein methods like coaching, mentoring, job rotation, job enrichment, seminars, workshops, all these approaches were also discussed. Now, once these MDPs are conducted, every organization then assesses the effectiveness of these programs, that whatever we want to gain from these MDPs, have we gained that or not. So, there are methods like pre and post training assessments, there is a 360-degree feedback, or you can take the participants' feedback, then monitoring the long term career progression of individuals and calculating the return on investment or the ROI. So, all these methods are used by organizations so as to assess the effectiveness of these programs. So, continuing with the topic of management development program, today we are going to learn about some other aspects of an MDP. So, the learning outcome for today's lecture is going to be, we are going to learn about what challenges are associated with an MDP, what are the benefits of these MDPs, what are the components of these MDPs that we are discussing. And in the end, we are going to wind up with the training and development topic and we will learn about the contemporary challenges of training and development per se. So, let us begin with today's first topic, that is challenges associated with MDPs. The first and foremost challenge of an MDP is identifying the development needs. So, we learnt in the process also in the previous lecture that we must identify why we are undertaking an MDP or why does a leader need to undergo this development program. So, what is the basic need? That is the main, or we can say a crucial aspect for going through or having getting the benefits of an MDP. So, determining the specific developmental needs of managers can be challenging. it requires a comprehensive assessment to identify the skill gaps and areas for improvement, considering individuals' current competencies and future organizational requirements. So, as you know that we have to identify what skill gaps an individual or an leader has. These gaps are the gaps what a leader has when we actually assess his current position and what we want to see him in the future. So, you need to assess those gaps, and on the basis of those gaps you address it and you identify what needs that leader has to develop. So, identifying these development needs can be challenging. Next challenge is that there are limited resources, and allocating sufficient resources including time, budget and personnel for these MDPs can be a challenge. Just like training, there are number of resources that are involved in an MDP, and every organization might not have those many resources for conducting an MDP. So, organizations may face constraints in terms of funding, availability of trainers or coaches, and scheduling the conflicts that hinder effective implementation of programs. So, due to limited resources, there can be a hindrance in effective implementation of these MDPs. The next challenge that we are going to discuss about is designing an effective program. So, an effective program has to address the skill gaps that we discussed in the first point. So, developing MDPs that effectively meet the diverse needs of managers can be challenging. Every manager might not have the same gap. So, designing an effective program for say a number of managers and designing a same program will not solve the purpose, because every manager might have a different requirement of skills. So, it requires a careful consideration of the program content, the delivery methods and learning objectives to ensure the relevance and engagement. So, as I said, the managers would be having different needs, and on the basis of these different needs, the design of the program has to be different also. So, that again is a challenge, how to design customized MDPs. The next challenge is that we often witness resistance to change. Whenever something new comes up, or whenever we have to learn something or adapt to something new or change our behavior. So, as a human we are always resistant to change, and that stands true for managers who are undertaking these MDPs also. Some managers, they may resist participating in MDPs due to reasons such as complacency, skepticism or the fear of change. Nobody wants to change. We are always happy in our comfort zone. We do not want to change. And as far as MDPs are concerned, we learnt in the previous lecture also that it involves behavioral changes, it involves change in your attitude, it involves learning new things. And whenever learning is concerned, you need to actually change yourself, only then those gaps that we talked of can be filled. And overcoming resistance and fostering continuous learning and development can be a challenge for managers in the organization who are undergoing these MDPs. So, resistance to change is one of the greatest, I would say, challenge for effective MDPs. The next challenge is adapting to changing needs. Every business organization today is witnessing that it has to be resilient, it has to be adapting to whatever changes, environmental changes, governmental policies are changing, there is an economic warfare within globally, if we talk of the war between Russia and Ukraine, and there are so many other factors that are changing at a very fast pace. And if the business organizations will not adapt to these changing needs, they will not survive. So the business landscape, as I said, is constantly evolving, and the MDPs, they must adapt to the changing organizational needs. So while designing your MDP, you must take care of all these changes that are occurring simultaneously in the environment. Because if you are going with the same old MDP, it will not be relevant in the current scenario. So flexibility and agility in the program design and content are essential to address the emerging challenges and industry trends effectively. So you need to be flexible, you need to be agile while designing these programs. A program that was relevant 2 years back might not be relevant today. So you must address these aspects of the business scenario as well. Then the next challenge is the cultural and geographic considerations. So as we know that organizations are operating in multiple locations with diverse cultural backgrounds, and they may face challenges in designing and implementing management development programs that are culturally sensitive and applicable across different geographic regions. So it is the era of multinational companies, multinational organizations. So if an organization has several branches in various countries, so can you have a same MDP for an employee or a manager who is working in, say, UK or a US or Japan or China or in India? Obviously we cannot have one single MDP. So you must take into consideration the cultural and geographic aspects of the individual also while you are designing an MDP, and this is one of the another, I would say, greatest challenges to come up with a single effective MDP. Then is ensuring the transfer of learning. So do you think that if I am saying you to learn this and you will just by my saying you will be learning or you will be applying whatever I am telling you? Maybe not. So translating this knowledge and skills acquired during MDPs into practical application can be a challenge. Learning a skill is one thing and applying those skills is another aspect. Many a times it has been seen that people learn but they fail to apply what they have learnt. So providing ongoing support, reinforcement and opportunities for managers to apply their learning in real world scenarios is essential for effective transfer of learning. So this transfer of learning is more crucial than simply learning. So you can just sit back and learn, but the effect will be there only if you apply whatever you have learned. So application of that knowledge is very crucial. Then is maintaining the program relevance. So MDPs, they must stay relevant in a rapidly changing business landscape. Regular review and update of the program content, incorporating new research, industry best practices and emerging trends can ensure that programs remain current and effective. So as I said that an MDP that you designed 2 years back might not be relevant today. So you must keep on adding content, you must keep on updating your content, incorporating new methods of delivery, some emerging trends that you feel that they need to be addressed, that your managers must learn about these trends, that can also be added into your current MDP so that it becomes more relevant and more effective. So friends, that was all about the challenges of an MDP. Now coming to the next part of the lecture, now let's discuss about the benefits of these MDPs. So the first benefit that we can think of is that it enhances the leadership skills. So MDPs help cultivate and enhance leadership skills among managers. So as we said that these MDPs are basically for people who take up managerial roles or roles of the top management. So, these MDPs are basically designed so as to inculcate leadership skills among managers. They develop competencies such as strategic thinking, decision making, communication and team management, enabling the managers to effectively lead their teams and drive organizational success. So, every manager who will be a leader of tomorrow need to have all these aspects like strategic thinking, decision making, good communication skills. He should be able to manage his team well and lead them effectively, and these all can be done with the help of an effective MDP. The second benefit is that it improves the organizational performance. So, well trained and skilled managers, they positively impact the overall performance of the organization. And why so? Because the MDPs, they basically equip the managers with necessary and I would say current tools, knowledge and abilities to make informed decisions, implement effective strategies and drive productivity and efficiency across organizations. So, when the leaders are knowledgeable, leaders are informed, leaders are performing well, the entire organization performs well. So, that is how we can say that when leaders are undergoing MDPs, it will directly impact the organizational performance also. The next benefit is that MDPs increase the employee engagement and retention. So, you are aware of what employee retention is, that when an employee is retained within an organization, but what is more important today than employee retention is employee engagement. With engagement, we mean that employees are passionate about working. They are passionate about their job as well as the organization. They put in extra effort while doing their job, and they are not only restricted to doing things that are given in their job description, but they take initiative, they strive for excellence, they strive for the success of their organization, and that is what is required today apart from retaining employees. So, MDPs demonstrate a commitment to employee growth and development. It boosts employee morale, engagement and loyalty as employees feel valued and supported in their career progression. So, whenever you are undertaking an MDP, you are progressing in your career. Your organization feels that you need to be growing in your career. So, that is how we can say that MDPs increase employee engagement. So, this in turn, as I said, enhances employee retention and reduces their turnover. The next benefit is bringing about innovation and adaptability. So, MDPs foster a culture of innovation and adaptability within an organization. It equips the managers with skills to think more creatively, embrace change and drive innovation. This allows the organization to stay ahead and thrive in a rapidly evolving business landscape. Coming to the next benefit, friends, it is talent attraction and employer branding. So, organizations that prioritize MDPs, they create a positive work environment and branding. This makes them attractive to top talent seeking opportunities for growth and development. So, whenever we join an organization, we always seek growth. We do not want stagnant organizations, or I will never work for an organization where my career is stagnated after a certain period of time. I would definitely seek organization where I am growing, where there is a positive work environment. So, certainly when MDPs are conducted, it not only brings about growth in the individual's career, but it also creates positive work environment, and that positive work environment further attracts top talent. So, all these go hand in hand. So, MDPs, they help attracting talent and in employer branding. So, friends, today we have started with the aspect of management development program, as to we discussed about the need, the importance of MDPs and what are the benefits of these MDPs. So, we will continue with some other aspects of MDP in the next lecture. Thank you.